רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
We rise together. We take our smaller red books, the Siddurim. We rise on page 103 for morning blessings of gratitude. Birchot HaShachar.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לסחביבינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר עשני בצלמו.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בת חורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר עשני ישראל.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פוקח עברים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מתיר אסורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף כפופים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם רוקע הארץ על המים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה לי כל צורכי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזס בגבורה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן ליעב כוח. 1:22 ברוך שעבר לעולם ברוך הוא ברוך עושה בראשים ברוך עושה מקיים ברוך מכם ובשכר טוב ברוך למלך העולם ברוך המן
יחיד חילולמים מלך משובח ומפורט יד שמו הגדול. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מעולם ותשבחו.
Amen. You may be seated.
So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Mazel Tov to our Bar Mitzvah and his family. So glad that you all could be with us here in this space and those joining us on live stream. As we settle into our seats, we're going to continue with particular lines from the book of Psalms called Psukei de Zimra, just as we begin to warm up and fully open our hearts and our voices to our prayer this morning. There's actually a beautiful moment of spontaneous prayer that comes up in this week's Torah portion. We'll hear more about our Torah portion from our Bar Mitzvah, and we'll have some conversation around the Torah portion as well. But after Sarah's death, Abraham sends out his senior servant to find a wife for his son Isaac. And as his servant approaches the village, the community in which he's hoping to find a partner for Isaac, he asks that God be gracious with him, that he find good fortune. And it's really a rare but beautiful example of spontaneous prayer. And for some of us, spontaneous prayer is hard. It's sometimes hard to find the words, which is why we have an entire Siddur, a prayer book of what we call fixed prayer, prayer that is has keva, has form. But prayer can also just be, wow, thank you. And it can come up, rise up spontaneously, and that's the kavanah. So hopefully this morning's tefillah, our prayer, will have moments of keva, of feeling grounded by those fixed prayers that are here for us day in, day out, week in, week out, but also infused with the spontaneous prayer of this moment. So we continue this morning with Ashrei, page 136. We take a couple of moments just to settle into a quality of osher, of contentment, of equanimity, of happiness right here. Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yalu chasela.
אשרי עם שככה לו, אשרי עם שרנה אלוהיו.
תהילה לדוד עמך
עמך המלך וחמשו. הדר כבוד עדיך
שכר
ודברי
אב
גבודך.
תבחי ויתרו.
זכרנו ברוך ומרנאי, טוב ונאי לכל רחמה וכל מעשה ודרכנה כל מעשה חזר. מלכותך מלכות כל המילים. פותח עליך מסבירו. רוב ונכו כל אבא חוש. שמע לכל אוהב וכל יש מידים. לך בסוף שכל שם.
ואנחנו נברך
ראיה.
Continue on 141 with Psalm 150. Kol haneshama tehalleliyah. We invite our entire soul, all of our parts, all of our feelings, all of our truth to express itself through our prayer. Take a deep breath, Nishima Mukha. As we prepare for Nishmat Kol Chai, page 145. The soul, the breath of every living being is a blessing.
אבל למה אתה בדוד חנן משמיש? כל הדור ונשפכו נדמים ילבש הקיים הדרך סוג נשמיים
ממצרים
Bottom 146
Miyid melach umish velach umiarog lach El hagadol hagibor ve'anora El elyon b'nei shamayim haaretz Na'aleh lecha neshabechecha nfa'erecha nvarach Et shem Moshe v'kamor LeDavid barchinu shirnai ve'or Rabbi Et shem Kocho
147 Ha'ir v'natzmat uzecha
הגדול בכבוד שמך, הגיבור לנצח והנורא בנורותיך, המלך היושב, הכיסא רם ונישא, שוכנה מערו, וקדוש שמו,
וכתוב אנו צדיקים באדוני יושבים נאוותי לה
בפי ישרים תתעלה,
ודברי צדיקות תדרש
בשעון חסדים תתרומם,
ובקרב קדושים
תתקדש, ובמקלות לבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, נדר ברך, להקלס על כל דברי שירות התשבחות.
David,
בן
please
ישעיה,
rise.
עבדך,
Abdecham, 148. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, מלך הגדול הקדוש בשמיים.
ברכות
והודות
נתן עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני,
בשמו.
המלך הגדול בתשבחות, אל הודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה,
מלך
העולמים,
אמן.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
במה תברך חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומכון, ובחית כל בית ישראל,
בעלה בזמן קריב יאמרו אמן, ישמע במבורך, לעולם לא מעליה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשי.
בריאו
מנקו ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, תמידן בלמה וימרו. אמן.
149, a slight bow.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You may be seated 150.
ברוך אתה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzero v'orech osher oseh shalom ובוראת הכל הכל ידוך וכל ישבוך הקדוש אדוני וסלם פודה ביום דויות משם מזרח ותיכה במקומה ורמק הנש מעצם והשיר מלך מאומם לבדו מיאז משובן
אין כרכך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה ואין זאת חמקנו לחיי עולם אפס פרטך גולנו מת המשיח
ואין מלכנו לתחיית המתים 151 אל אדון הכל המעשים הרום ואורה בכל אשר וטובו עליו וגדולה סרבים ואבנים בהיות הקודש 152 לאל אשר שבת בכל המעשים ימשי כי זה כבודו תפארת נבוכה ונקרים השבת זה מזמור שם השבת תתברך תברך משיענו ושם עשיך ושם עשידי ועשינו וכן ישתבח שם Top 153
כולם אהובים, כולם
מאוהים, גיבורים, כולם עושים אימה וביראה. כל נעמוים מהם,
בקדושה
תורה
ושירה.
זמרה ובאים שבים ואיברים
ומריצים ומקדישים וממליכים
את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא הקדוש הוא למקבלים עליהם מלכות שמיים זה מזה עונים רשות זה לזה
להקדיש
להיות רך רוח בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה עולם גאד עונים אומרים ביראה קדוש 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 על צבאות מלוך על הארץ גדול להפנים והיות הקודש ברעש גדול נעומת שרפים ומטה משמחים אומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו אל ברוך לימוד את החבך יסך לשוב מחומץ רפואות נועד לא דור לפלוא וחומץ נעשי וישין כמו רסיב אור חדש
אור חדש ציון תאיר כולנו
מהרה לאורו
אתה אדוני
בו שמו
יוצא
154 we'll grab our tzitzit together as one for Shema Yisrael Ava Rabba Avdan Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gdora v'tirachamot aleinu Avinu Malkeinu b'avur avotinu b'atim v'shavonu Ken tachonenu lavdinu v'rachamanu v'chinu Ha'erinenu techadabek nebenzet
וקרבתנו לשמך קדוש אלה באמת להודות לך ויחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשיתך בביתך ובילתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, ויולדת לבוא בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, וישערך. 156, עם שמות תשמחי מצוות, לעבוד את ותרסם ביתם, שמשתחוויתם להם אחריו. 158.
תהילת לאל עליון ברוך ומבורך, משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו, שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך בנים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורתי לא תוסף אלה, שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך שפת הים יחד כולם, הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה, בעזרת ישראל קומה, ובטחנו בך יהודה וישראל. צור ישראל קומה, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש 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 ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני God Israel.
חבר'ה, place our feet together towards the ark, towards Yerushalayim. Pages 159 through 161, we daven together. Rest is silent, prayer is silent, Amida.
Adonai sefati tiftach uviach tehilatecha, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sara, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gamer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei HaKol, Ve'Zocher Chesed Avot V'Imavot, ומביא לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכל חיים בחסד, וחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי המתים, נקדש שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי אהרון, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה
ימלוך בציון וקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון תתגדע ותתגדע את ירושלים עיר לדור ודור דור נצח נצחים ועינינו תראנה עבודיה הדבר האמור בשירי עוזיה ידי דוד משיח זיכי העילון העולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה
לדור פתן נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש משפחך אלוהינו מפילנו ושלם ועד כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
167.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברך ירדם ינמיך מלכותה, וחיי חורב ומכון, ובחיי תכל בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמא יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה ברכו, לילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותן ובותן לכל ישראל, קדם אבהון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רב מן שמיא, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. אין כמוך אלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך,
מלכותך,
מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני למלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני עוד למועד, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אהבת רחמים, היטיבה ברצונך, את ציון תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך ונישא אדון עולמים. ויהי בנשוא הארון, ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני, ויפוצו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי בציון תצא תורה, כי בציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. Our bar mitzvah leads us responsively in Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Balu Adonai
Ya'imam Shemo Yagda. Lecha Adonai HaGedula, HaGevora, HaTiveres, VeHaneta, VeHahod, Ki Hol HaShamayim u'Ba'aretz, Ki Hol HaShamayim u'Ba'aretz. Adonai הממלכה, והמיס נעשה לכל
לראש, לך אדוני הגדולה והגיבורה, והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמין הזה לכל ראש. רוממו דן אלוהינו והשתחוו לדם רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו דן אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עושה שלום,
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom to welcome to all our regular chevra and our special guests here for amazing B-Mitzvah of the Gerstner Mishpacha. You can follow along in the large red books from the Torah, the greatest traditions, thousands of years old tradition of chanting and reading from the Torah itself. We're on page 127 in your Chumashim, the larger red book. Genesis chapter 23, verse 1. This is called Chayei Sara, the life of Sarah, lives of Sarah. It's ironically said that it really begins with the death of Sara and the burial of Sara and other things. We'll hear more about it from our Bar Mitzvah. So our first Aliyah for the Torah, we call forward Raymond and Marjorie to come forward. Chapter 23, verse 1, page 127. Vayazor v'agim v'shivasim bo v'nomar amen hakol havu godol Eloheinu kavod laTorah yamdu Ruven ben Yankov Malka u'Malka bat Daniel v'elka l'aliyah rishona Baruch shetan tol mu'isa b'dishato v'atem advikim b'Adonai Elohechem chayei hayom.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baruch rabanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayu Chayei Sara 100 shana v'esrim shana v'sheva shanim shnei Chayei Sara v'tamad Sara b'kiryat arba hi chevram be'eretz Canaan vayavo Avraham lispod l'Sara v'livkota vayakom Avraham me'al pnei meto v'daber el b'nei chet lemor Gervato shav anochi imachem tenu li achuzak kever imachem v'akbar ameti milefanai.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan devekenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov, Yisher Koach. Watch your step. We invite now Pamela and James to come forward for the second Aliyah. We are in verse 5, page 128. Yitamod penina bat Ruvenu malka Aliyah shenit.
Baruch Hu etz Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baruch rabanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayanu v'nechet et Avraham lemor lo Shema'enu Adoni Nisi Elohim ata b'tochenu b'mivchar kivarenu kivor et meitecha ish mimenu et kivro lo yichle mimcha mikfor meitecha vayakom Avraham Vayishlach le'am ha'aretz livnei chet.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Watch your stuff, okay? Go to the other side over here. Our third Aliyah, but Shevin to come forward. Tamud, Sharon bat Chaim udvora al Aliyah shlishit. We are verse 8, page 128.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
It's this column, thank you. Amen. וידבר איתם לאמור, אם יש את נפשכם, לקבור את מתי מלפני, שמעוני ופיקו לי בעפרון בן זוהר, וייתן לי את מערת המכפלה, אשר לו הוא אשר בקצה שדהו, בכסף מלא יתננה לי, בתוכם לאחוזת קבר, ועפרון יושב בתוך בני חית, ויען עפרון החיתי את אברהם באזני בני חית לכל באי שער עירו לאמור, לא אדני שמעני, השדה נתתי לך, והמראה אשר בו לך נתתיה לעיני בני עמי, נתתיה לך כבומתך, וישתחו אברהם לפני עם הארץ.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shekach, Shekach. So we continue our fourth aliyah. We are in verse 13, page 129. As Sam's coming forward, invite all to please rise. We'll offer a prayer for Cholim. Yamod Shmuel ben Lev Alevi v'Chana aliyah haravi'it. As I pause in the midst of this prayer, I invite you to offer the names of those you're holding in your heart who are in need of healing, body, soul, and spirit. Mishaberach avotenu, Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, imotenu Rivka v'Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech v'rapeh et achonim, nezamor chamesh v'tzviyah. הקדוש ברוך הוא מרחמים עליהם, להחזיקם רפאותם, וישלח מרפואה שלמה מן השמיים, פות הנפש פות הגוף. בתוך שאר החולים חזק כדי עוסקים בצורכיהם, שבת מזו קרובה קרובות לבוא, אשתבח לה בזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to all those we pray for. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and vigor, granting them spiritual and physical well-being, together with all the others who are ill. And may God grant strength to those who tend to them. Though Shabbat is a time to refrain from crying out, we hope and pray that healing is in hand, and let us say together.
Amen.
Elna refana la, elna refana la, elna refana la, refuah shelema. Elna refana la, elna refana la, elna refana la, refuah shelema. You may be seated. Fourth Aliyah, verse 13, page 129.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorah.
Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. וידבר אל עפרון באזני עם הארץ לאמור, אך אם אתה לו שמעני, נתתי כסף השדה, קח ממני, וכברת מתי שמה. ויען עפרון את אברהם לאמור לו, אדוני שמעני ארץ 400 שקל כסף, ביני ובינך מהי, ואת מתך קבור. וישמע אברהם אל עפרון, וישקול אברהם לעפרון, את הכסף אשר דיבר באזני בני חת. 400 שקל כסף עובר לסוחר.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Shkoyach. So, our fifth aliyah, we are in verse 17, page 130. Who has the honor of the fifth aliyah? Dennis, vakasha. Yamod harofeh. David Chaim ben Avraham לעלייה חמישית.
ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך אדוני המברך.
ברוך הנברך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המברך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העולמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Amen. Vayakam Sodeh Ephron Asher b'machpelah Asher lifnei Mamre Hasadeh v'hama'ara Asher bo V'chol ha'etz Asher b'sadeh Asher b'chol gevulov saviv V'Avraham l'mikna l'nei b'nei chet V'chol ba'ei shariro V'acharechen Kavar Avraham, et Sara ishto, el marat, sodeh hamachpelah, al pnei mamrehi Hebron, be'eretz Canaan, vayakam hasadeh, v'hamara asher bo, Avraham liachuzat kaver, me'ei b'nei
Shkoyach.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Shkoyach. Our sixth aliyah. We now turn to page 130, chapter 24, verse 1. Tamod Leah bat Yisrael לעלייה השישית.
Baruch et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Hanebrak le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, someone go to the other side. Hold the left side there. That's perfect. There we go.
Amen. Amen. Avraham zaken ba bayamim. Varonai berach et Avraham bakol. Vayomer Avraham elavdo zekan beto. Hamashel b'chol asher lo. Simna yadcha tachat yirehi. Vashbi yacha. Varonai Elohei hashamayim. Velohei haaretz. Asher lo tikach isha livni mi benot hakanaani asher anochi yoshev b'kirbo ki el artzi vel moladati telech v'lakachta isha livni litzah.
Shkoyach. Go back on this side. There we go. Put your seat here.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shkoyach. Somebody for Jen on the side here. Tov. Shkoyach. We now turn to our seventh aliyah. We are in verse 5, page 131. Invite the proud parents to come forward. Yamdu Eriez Yisrael ben Yitzchak u'Pnina ובת יחב ובת ראובן ומלכה על עלייה השביעית.
Baruch Hu Adonai.
One second. One at a time. Okay, take your seat, Abba. Daddy, take your seat. There we go. I'm going to close the Torah. We're going to hold the wood. There we go. Okay.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Adonai.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, you're glad to be here.
Vayomer elav ha'eved ulai lo toveh ha'isha laleche acharai el ha'aretz hazo heheshev ashiv et pincha el ha'aretz asher yatzata misham vayomer elav Avraham hishamer lecha pentashiv epini shama Adonai Elohei Hashamayim Asher Lokachani Mi Beit Avi Ume Eretz Molati Fa'asher Diberli Va'asher Nishbali Lemur Lizarecha Etain Ha'aretz Hazo Hu Yishlach Malacho Lefanecha Velakachta Isha Livni Misham Ve'imlo Tove Ha'isha Laleche Acharecha Venikita Mishvuati Zo Rak et Beni Lo Tashev Shama Vayasem Ha'eved et Yado Tachat Yerech Avraham Adonav Vayishavalo Al Hadavar Hazeh.
Shkoyach, B-Mitzvah, kol hakavod. The Torah. The bottom bracha. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'dochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. We rise together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei ravav yomad yirach erotei v'avnig malchutei v'hayehon yom echad ochayelcho beit Yisrael v'gala ubizman kariv imeru amen yesh shmei ravav mevorach leolam u'amei amaya Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitbar, v'yirmam, v'yinaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shmer godesha, v'richu leila mikol brachata v'shirata, dod v'chata, v'nechemata, d'amiran v'yama, v'yimeru, amen. Yamod, Yamod, Yamod Bachur, Bar Mitzvah, Ar Yaakov ben Eliezer Batya, Lamaftir Chazak. Now a Bar Mitzvah offers a aliyah to the Torah. First time as a Bar Mitzvah. We're on page 131, verse 5.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer elav ha'eved ulai lo toveh ha'isha laleche acharai el ha'aretz hazo heshev ashiv et pincha el ha'aretz asher yatzata misham Vayomer elav Avraham, Hishamer lecha, pentashiv epani shama. Adonai, Elohei Hashamayim, Asher L'chachani, Mi Beit Avi, Ume Eretz Molati, Va'asher Dibreli, Va'asher Nishbali, Lemor, Lezarecha, Etain Ha'aretz Hazo, Hu, Yishlach Malacho, Lefanecha, V'lakachta, Isha, Livni Misham, Ve'im lo Toveh Ha'isha, Laleche Acharecha, V'nikita, Mishuati Zo, Rak et Beni, Lo Tashev Shama, Vayasem Ha'eved et Yedo, Tachat Yerech Avraham Adonav, Vayishav alo al hadavar hazeh.
Shekoyach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Simita, mazel tov, mazel tov, simita. Simita, mazel tov, mazel tov, simita. Simita, mazel tov, mazel tov, simita. Elano, 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 Oleo Yisrael. Elano, Elano, Oleo Yisrael. Elano, Elano, Oleo Yisrael. Israel. We rise together and lift and dress Sefer Torah. To lift, Yamod, Adam ben Natan v'Shoshan Magbia. To dress, Mali, Tamor, Yaakov Alea bat Eliezer bat Yagon Lelet. Vezot HaTorah, Asher Sam Moshe, Linei Israel, V'Adonai. Everyone. So, maybe seated. We turn now to page 143 for the Haftarah, the prophetic reading. Bakasha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
V'hamelech David zaken bayamim v'chasuhu babagadim v'lo yicham lo vayomeru lo avadav yivakshu laduni hamelech na'ara v'tula v'amda lifnei hamelech utilo sochenet v'shachva v'hekecha v'cham laduni hamelech v'yavakshu na'ara yafa b'chol Gevul Yisrael Vayimtzeu Avishag Hashunami Vayaviu Ota Lamelech Vahana'ara Yafa Ad Ma'od Vatahi Lamelech Sochenet Vatasharetehu Vahamelech Lo Yada'a Va'adoniya Ben Chagi Mitnasei Lemor Ani Emloch Vayas Lo Rechev Ufarashim V'chamishim Ish Ratzim Lefanav Velo Atzavo Aviv Miyamav Lemor Madua Kacha Asita V'gam hu tov toar ma'od V'oto yalda acharei Avshalom Vayiyu devarav im Yoav ben Saruya V'im Evyatar hakohen V'ya'azru acharei Adoniya V'tzadok hakohen Uvnayahu ben Yehoyada V'natan hanavi V'shim'i v'rei V'hagibarim asher l'David lo hayu im Adoniyahu Vayizbach Adoniyahu Tzon uvakar umri im even hazochelet asher etzel ein rogel Vayikra ekol echav b'nei hamelech uchol anshe Yehuda avdei hamelech ve'natan hanavi uvnayahu ve'hagiborim ve'shlomo achiv lo kara vayomer Natan al bat sheva im shlomo lemor halo shama'at ki malach Adoniyahu ben Chagi va'adonenu David lo yada va'ata l'chi iyatzeh na eitza umalti et nafshei ve'et nefesh b'nech shlomo l'chi uvoi el hamelech David va'amarta elav Halo ata Adoni hamelech nishbata la'amatcha lemor kishlomo v'nech imloch acharai v'hu yeshev al kisi umadua malach Adoniyahu hine odach medaberet sham im hamelech va'ani avo acharayich umalti et davaraich vatavo vatsheva el hamelech hachadra v'hamelech zakein me'od va'avishag hashunamit mesharat et hamelech vatikod bat sheva vatishtachu la'melech vayomer hamelech malach Vatomer lo Adoni ata nishba'ata Badonai Elohecha ne'em la'amatecha Kishlomo v'nech imloch acharai V'hu yeshev al kisi V'ata hine Adoniya malach V'ata Adoni hamelech lo yadata Vayizbach shor u'mivatzon lavrov Vayikra l'chol b'nei hamelech Olav hakohen Yoav sar hatzava V'lishlomo avdecha lo kara V'ata Adoni hamelech Einei Chol Yisrael alapa alecha lahagid lahem mi yeshev al kisei Adoni hamelech acharav v'haya kishchav Adoni hamelech im avotav v'hiti ani uvni shlomo hata'im v'hinei odena medaberet im hamelech v'natan hanavi ba vayagidu lamelech lemor hinei natan hanavi vayavo lifnei hamelech vayishtachu lamelech alapav artsa vayomer natan Adoni hamelech ata amarta Adoniyahu imloch acharai v'hu yeshev al kisi ki yarad hayom vayizbach shor rivetzon larov vayikra l'chol b'nei hamelech Osarei hatzava Olevyatar hakohen Vahinam ochlim v'shotim lefanav Vayomeru yechi hamelech Adoniyahu v'li ani avdecha Otzadok hakohen V'livnayahu ben Yehoyada V'lishlomo avdecha lo kara im me'ei Adoni hamelech niya hadavar hazeh v'lo hodata e'avdecha mi yeshev al kisei Adoni hamelech acharav Vaya'an hamelech David Vayomer Kiruli Lavatshava Vatavo Lifnei hamelech Vata'amod Lifnei hamelech Vayishava hamelech Vayomar Chadonai Asher pada et nafshi mikol tzara Ki Kasher nishbati lach Badonai Elohei Yisrael Lemor Kishlomo v'neich imloch acharai v'hu yeshev al kisi tachtai ki kein e'eseh hayom hazeh vatikod bat sheva apayim eretz vatishtachu lamelech vatomer yechi Adoni hamelech David leolam Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Tzor Kol HaOlamim Tzadik B'chol HaDorot Ha'el HaNe'eman HaOmer V'oseh Hamdaber Kayim Shekol Devarav Emet V'tzedek Ne'eman Atahu Adonai Eloheinu V'ne'emanim Devarecha V'devar Echad Mivarecha Achor lo yeshuv rekam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu b'shemo.
ha'el ha'ne'eman b'chol devarav
Amen.
Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu v'la aluvat nefesh toshia bimheira v'yamenu baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu b'shemo.
mesameach Tzion b'varecha
Amen.
Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu ba'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha uvmalchut David Beit David Mashichecha bimheira yavo v'yagel libenu al kiso lo yeshev zar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kavodo ki v'shem kodsho nishbatalo shelo yichbe nero leolam va'ed baruch ata Adonai
B'shemo.
Magen David
Amen.
al haTorah v'al ha'avoda v'al hanaviim v'al yom hashavat hazeh shenetata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha levado lechavod uvtifaret Ahakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvorchim otach Yitbarach Shemcha b'fi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Shekoach. Okay. Our Bar Mitzvah this time, after a beautiful Haftarah, will now offer his Davar Torah, which is his commentary and thoughts on the Torah portion. Do it slowly, deep breath. He's going to smile. He's going to enjoy it. Go ahead, Yonatan.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
My parasha is Chayei Sara. Chayei Sara means the life of Sarah, even though it starts with her death. In this portion, Sarah, Abraham's wife, dies, and he wants to purchase a cave in Israel for her burial. Ephron tried to give it to Abraham for free, but Abraham refused. After he purchases the cave and buries Sarah, he orders his servant to find a wife for his son, Isaac. My question is, why did Abraham refuse to accept the cave for free? Two rabbis named Ramban and Malbim had something to say about this. According to Ramban, not paying the full price for the cave wouldn't technically count as legally owning it. Similarly, Malbim says that being gifted the cave isn't owning it legitimately, and that it could be canceled and repossessed by Ephron. What I think about this is something kind of similar to Malbim, as he says that owning the cave makes it not a legitimate possession, which I sort of agree with. There's a line between a gift and earning something, and being given it just because. If you never purchase the cave yourself, you can never really feel like you owned it to begin with. I can relate to Abraham as I have an experience where I've earned something rather than being given something. For about a year or two now, I've been saving up my own money for a new laptop. I've been saving up until recently when my parents have decided to give it to me for my hard work for my bar mitzvah, an earned gift, which feels a lot better than just being given it. In conclusion, Abraham wants to pay the full price so he could feel like he earned it himself. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shekoach. Awesome job. All right, Bar Mitzvah, leave your papers there. Come on down. Invite Mom and Dad to come stand behind you over here on the bima. Okay, smile. You did a lot of it. You're almost basically there, man. Look at you. Shekoach. You did it. You take a little one step closer, a little bit. There you go. You see your Shana Punim. All right. Are we proud of you? We are so, so proud of you. Kol hakavod, amazing Torah reading, Haftarah, and a very insightful and thoughtful Devar Torah as well. I feel like just yesterday was your bris, man. I remember yesterday. I know you don't remember it, but I remember it, okay? Okay. Still remember the Baltimore accents that were in the room, okay? I felt like the old country for me. I appreciate it, all right? And we're just so proud of everything you've learned, everything you've grown into, you know, everything you've taken on. You know, one of my favorite teachers, many of our teachers, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, may he rest in peace, the chief rabbi of Britain, who sadly died just a few years ago, had a brilliant teaching. He's, you know, traditionally, if you look at the Torah, they say, who are the Jewish people? Who are the Hebrews? We are the chosen people. Okay, chosen. That's a whole, what does that mean, be chosen? He says, that's actually not the right way to say it. We are the choosing people. What do you mean by that? He said, being Jewish today, in the modern world, requires each and every person, even those, by the way, who live in Israel, have to choose to be Jewish. You have to choose to identify with our people. You have to choose to follow the commandments. You have to choose on some level to read from the Torah. Now, we understand that parents have a unique influence over, Jewish children. Jewish guilt is a long tradition. But the truth is we're all choosing in on whether we want to be part of this people, whether we want to be part of this religion, whether we want to be part of this congregation. It's a choice. Ultimately, it is a choice in the modern world. And Jonathan, you've made that choice yourself. And just like Abraham, you taught us beautifully, said, I don't want it bought for me. It could have happened that way. But he said, I want to choose to buy it myself. You here have chosen to take your Jewish identity and not just make it something given to you, but make it something you've chosen. And we applaud that. We are so proud of you. It is a privilege to be part of this people. It's a privilege what you've learned. But it's also something you had to choose on your own. And today you've shown you can do that on your own. We are so proudful, and we are grateful to you and your family for making that happen. Mazel tov. Yesher koach. We rise together and give a special bracha to our bar mitzvah. His parents place his talit over his head. And place his hand on his head. Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, God of our foremothers, like Sara, and God of our forefathers as well. On this holy Shabbat, bring down your blessings, your brachot, in this amazing bar mitzvah.
Help him to have that strength, determination, that passion to keep making that choice, the choice of being who he is. Help him feel strong and supported that in the journey of life as it goes here and there, he has already chosen your Torah, your teachings, the blessing of his family, his shul, his community, his family. May he always have the strength, the fortitude, the confidence to make the choices he wishes to make so that he can help make himself in this world a better place. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God always look upon you and grant you peace. And we say together,
Amen.
Okay, parents are ready to go back to the seat. Bar mitzvah back to the table. We now are going to remain standing and invite Coretta and Eric to come forward, stand exactly where I'm standing here at the Bima, at this podium. Return to page 178 in our Siddurim and offer responsively a prayer for peace. This prayer for peace is needed as much more than ever here in our own country, our own city, and throughout the world. Coretta, Fakasha, 178.
May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace will embrace the whole world.
The nation will not threaten nation, and the human family will not again know war.
For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come into being to hate or to destroy. We have come into being to praise, to labor, and to love.
Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations with the power of compassion.
Fulfill the promise conveyed in the scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and no one shall terrify you.
I will rid the land of vicious beasts and shall not be ravaged by war.
Let justice and righteousness flow like a mighty stream. Let God's peace fill the earth as the waters fill the sea. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much. Beautiful job. Thank you so much. We remain standing as well to announce the new month. We invite all those honored with carrying the Sefer Torah to come forward this time. We turn to page 180. It is the Hebrew month of Kislev. Kislev means Hanukkah is coming. So this week we have the new month. The Hebrew calendar, Jewish calendar, is slightly different than the Gregorian one. We go by the moon. And this month on Wednesday into Thursday, I believe, or Thursday into Friday?
Yes.
Thursday into
Yes.
Friday? Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Chamishi v'Shishi.
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Oh, both those days. All right, Wednesday night through Friday night, basically, is the month of Kislev. So let me read on page 180. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, grant that this month bring us goodness and blessing and bestow on us a long life, a life that is peaceful, life that is good, life that is blessed, a life with proper sustenance, a life with physical vitality, a life conscious of heaven's demands and wary of sin, a life free of shame and reproach, a life of abundance and honor, a life of love of Torah, conscious of heaven's demands, a life in which the worthy desires of our hearts are fulfilled. And let us say together,
Amen.
Mishasa nisim lavoteinu, Mishasa nisim limotenu, Ve'alotam evdu lecherut, Igalotanu bekarov, Vikabesin v'chenim arba kanfot, Haaretz, Chaverim go Yisrael, V'nomar, Amen. Rosh Chodesh Kislev, יהיה ביום חמישי ויום שישי, הבא עלינו ועל כל ישראל לטובה.
ראש חודש כסלו, יהיה ביום החמישי ויום השישי, הבא עלינו ועל כל ישראל לטובה.
ויחל לשיר הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו ועל כל עמו בישראל, לחיים ושלום, לששון ולשמחה, לישועה ולנחמה, ונאמר אמן. יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו ארץ
Hayim, Hayaren Geren Le'amo, Tila Leho, Hasidav, Livnei Yisrael, Am Gerova.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Mizmor LeDavid.
Havul Adonai V'Elim, Havul Adonai
Kavod Raz. Havul Adonai.
Kivod Shiva,
Hishtachavul
Adonai V'Hadrat Kodesh,
Kol Amayim Belakavoririm Adonai Amayim Rabim
Rabim Shabbos.
Kol Adonai Ba'aka Kol Adonai Behadar Kol Adonai Shover Arazim Vayshaber Adonai Et Arzei Havanon Vayarkidim Kamo Egel Lebanon V'Sirion Kemo Ben Reimim
Shabbos.
Kol Adonai Kotzev Levotein
Kol Adonai Yachil Viva,
Yachil
Adonai Viva Gadesh,
Kol Adonai Yecholel
Ayalot,
Vayechesof Yarot Vechalok Kolo Merkavot Adonai Lamapul
Yashav Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam,
Adonai
Hod Le'am Vayetzei, Adonai Evaden Avova. Let's roll. Etz Hayim Levaziva, Et Ha'eoshar Dera'ea, Dar'eno Ha'eonezirotea, Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Na'arua Hadeh Yameinu Hadeh Yameinu Kedei. Maybe see everyone as the ark is closed. Shabbat Shalom Varach. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to all our chevra, our visitors. Glad to have you. Our custom here is to study some Torah together as a congregation. So if you have an announcements page, hopefully, on the other side of the announcements page will be a little text saying Achanukia in every window. So our custom here for those that are visiting, some of you know this, even visitors, is that we do a discussion. We begin by having a conversation, me and Rabbi Jenny, on a text that's usually from the Torah portion at the time of the year. In this case, it's about Hanukkah. And we'll battle it out a little bit here, a little battle royal. Okay, we'll discuss it very Talmudically. And then we'll open up to you. So if you are visiting or even if you're not Jewish, everyone's invited to participate, to offer your thoughts about the discussion we're having, to contribute to it. And since we don't have microphones for everyone to hear, we will kind of paraphrase and share so everyone can hear at home and even in our congregation what you're saying. So in lieu of the Torah portion of the week, Chayei Sara, since our Bar Mitzvah hit it so nicely, we're going to focus on Hanukkah because we just announced the new month of Kislev, which is Hanukkah month. And that means Hanukkah is around the corner. And that's big on the brains, obviously, of the Jewish community, is getting ready for Hanukkah. And the text we're going to study here, we've studied many times here at Beth Meyer. In fact, we just studied it this week at our awesome Torah on Tap hangout a couple of days ago, which was cool. So for some of you, it might be old hat, but the Torah never gets old. So it's got new commentary, okay? So this time we're going to study the text. We're going to get into the issues around it, about Hanukkah. And then I want to bring a commentary from a true story from about 20 years ago, or something, 1994-ish, something like that, if I do my math right, 28 years ago, something, whatever, of a true story around Hanukkah that many of you, I think, are familiar with. Some of you may not be, but it's worth retelling the story of Billings, Montana, and what they did at Hanukkah in this small town with a small Jewish community, and kind of to think about the time today we're living in, and not only is the role of Hanukkah for the Jewish community, but what is the kind of interaction of this experience with people who are not Jewish and who want to show allyship with the Jewish community
in a time of challenge. As many of you know, sadly, there's been an increase in anti-Semitic attacks at this particular period, past few years in general. So let's talk about this first. Let's first look at the law. So in the Talmud, there's a whole set of laws in Masechet Shabbat, in a tractate of the Talmud, about how to practice Hanukkah. And this specifically tells you, where do you place your Hanukkah menorah? Where exactly? The Talmudic rabbis. Rabbi Jay.
The Talmudic rabbis taught it is a mitzvah to place the Chanukiah at the entrance to one's house on the outside, so that all can see it. If one lives upstairs, it's placed at the window adjacent to the public domain. And in a time of danger, one places the Chanukiah on the table, and that is sufficient to fulfill one's obligation.
Okay, so to come back here, there's a little piece of background. Again, some of you know, but some may be less familiar. Hanukkah is all about the miracle of Hanukkah, and there's two kind of interpretations of the miracle. Who knows some of the interpretations? What's one miracle? The oil lasted longer than expected. And what's the other miracle? The Maccabees defeated the kind of Greek, totally whatever. They overcame the desecration of the temple. Two miracles. Either way, according to the rabbis, you're supposed to advertise that miracle, Pirsuma Nisa, to let the whole world see the miracle that happened, or miracles, and to show gratitude for those miracles. And how do you show it? By putting a light out into the world. You're supposed to make sure that people on the street and in the world see the miracle and the gratitude we have for the miracle. Therefore, if you want people to see it, you have to put it, the phrase used here is Rashut HaRabim, the public domain has to see it. So according to, in ancient times in antiquity, you'd have your house, it'd have the front door, and you not only would put your Hanukkah in a window, you'd actually put it outside of your front door, almost like on your porch, looking out, so that people that are walking down the street in ancient times before cars could really see your Hanukkah menorah, Hanukkah, and really appreciate the miracle. It says, however, if you live in an ancient condo, okay, on the second floor up top, then you put in a window, but it should be the one not facing the backyard, not facing the side yard. It must go to the main street so everybody can see it. But you can see, this mitzvah has a fundamental social problem. Nearly all of the commandments in our tradition, and in fact, could argue perhaps all of them, are meant to be something, or are possibly done in a synagogue, or maybe outside, like you could build a sukkah, but you can build it in a hidden place. This commandment, God requires us to put a Jewish symbol in the public sphere. We are required. What's the problem? Some people are going to receive that public symbol and be happy about it, both Jewish and not Jewish. Some people are not. In fact, by putting your Chanukiah in the window or on the front step or on the side, whatever, you could be putting a bullseye. Jews live here. 2,000 years ago it says, and in a time of danger, don't be a nudnik, don't be stupid. Don't put it in the middle where everyone to see where you live. Put it on a table inside so you can celebrate it, even though it's not really fulfilling the mitzvah of advertising and being grateful for the miracle. Better you should do that and protect yourself, because Judaism values protecting human life, than putting your Judaism on display for the whole world to see. Now, when I taught this text, or we taught this text, over the course of my 22 years as a rabbi, I said the first decade of being a rabbi, this idea of the potential that it was a time of danger was irrelevant. It was like, of course you put it in the window. What are you talking about? But in the past couple of years, I mean, you know what I think, of course, but okay. But do we put it in the window? Do we not put it in the window? It's a legit call. Each one of us has to decide. Are we or are we not? So, and this particular year in particular, with particular anti-Semitic things that happen just right now, including leaflets and flyers in Raleigh, North Carolina, in my neighborhood, in this neighborhood right here. Should we? Should we not? Each of us has to ask that question of ourselves. Now, before we even get into the next text, we're going to talk about a case of Billings, Montana. Rabbi, any comments on the text? We're going to go into Billings, Montana.
I just think it's such a great reminder. You know, there are many things that Christmas and Hanukkah and Diwali and other holidays around this time of year, actually, there's an overlap. For example, the universal wish for creating light at the darkest time of year. There are ways in which the winter holidays, which happen at the same time, have things in common. But I'm always sort of like, it's a little struggle for me inside when I see the ways in which our culture like to wrap Hanukkah and Christmas together, because for me, ultimately, Hanukkah is a holiday in which we really put the authenticity of our Judaism out in the window. It's a holiday in some way of resistance against the Greeks who tried to take our Judaism and our culture away. And so to hide it in any way, I have such a strong, visceral reaction to that because, again, for me, the core of Hanukkah is we will not be afraid.
Exactly. And I actually know some members of this congregation, maybe even present today, have such an awesome display in their house. WREL carries it. Was Jay still here?
Yeah, I think
Jay's gone? Yeah. It's amazing. I love that. In fact, it has a little radio station. When you pass by, you get some Hanukkah radio music, okay? Yeah. But it is a powerful thing. Not everybody is going to like that, even though it's very common in our neighborhood. We feel like we have half of, the entirety of Santa Claus in the family out on our fast street. I have no issue with that. I totally honor that. We respect and actually think it's pretty. But should we have our own? Do we hold back? Do we put our culture on display? That is the question. All right, so before we get that conversation, I hope you're stirring some thought within yourself, because we're going to ask you, what are you thinking? Let's look at what happened in Billings, Montana. This is a relatively long text here, so maybe I'll help with Rabbi Jay, but at least you'll start. Of a true story covered by the New York Times in 1994 of a town where anti-Semitic incidents occurred that were even violent, sadly, and what the town did in response. Vakasha.
On the evening of December 2nd, an event that horrified the town occurred at the home of Brian and Tammy Schnitzer. Brian, age 46, practices family medicine in Billings and is a member of the Beth Aaron congregation.
I cut and pasted to make it shorter, so that, yeah.
His wife Tammy, who converted to Judaism 8 years ago. The Schnitzers live with their baby daughter Rachel and their 5-year-old son Isaac in a small house on the secluded street. The previous night, Isaac came running into his parents' room. He had seen a shadow at his window. He had never done that before, said Brian, so we made light of it. Talked about monsters under the bed and in the closet, reassured him. Around 7 p.m. on December 2nd, someone drove down the road, parked, approached the Schnitzer home, and threw a chunk of cinder block through Isaac's window. The window had a menorah in it, signifying preparations for Hanukkah. The cinder block left an indentation and shattered the glass on Isaac's bed. No one was in the room at the time, though whoever threw the cinder block could not have known that. This incident struck the town harder. The safety of a child was involved. Everyone could identify with the parents. It was also the Christmas season. Public outrage was immediate. The Billings Gazette ran a major article in which Tammy Schnitzer was quoted as saying that she was torn by the advice of authorities that she remove Jewish symbols from her home. She conceded that keeping the symbols displayed might not be the wise thing to do, but added, how do you explain that to a child? Her dilemma was soon solved by the town in a dramatic act of solidarity and community goodwill. Thousands of paper menorahs were printed and distributed to non-Jewish families. The Gazette published a full-page drawing of a menorah for readers to cut out and place in their windows. Billings was full of displays of menorahs. The idea originated with Margaret McDonald, who called herself the church lady. She is a 42-year-old mother of 2 small children who works with the Montana Association of Churches. When she read what Tammy had said about not wanting to remove the Jewish symbols, she recalled the story of the King of Denmark's response to Nazi orders to force Jews to wear Stars of David. The king and other Danes also put them on. MacDonald called Keith Torney, the minister of her church, the First Congregational United Church of Christ, who enlisted members of his congregation. Jan Stickney, a member of Torney's church, says that as soon as she heard the idea that she went down to the Target store to see if I could find a real menorah. They had a blue plastic one, so I put that up. I did not feel that the menorah was a strange symbol to have in my house. I felt that it was part of my own life in a different way. Inman Torney and McDonald estimate that there were menorahs in 3,000 to 4,000 windows. Others think that the number was closer to 10,000.
Gives me chills just hearing you lead that. It's just an amazing story. All right, there's a lot of comment we can have on this. Do you give a comment on this before? All right, I think we're going to open up for some conversation here. This story is a response of a town. And one of the questions I want to raise up here is, I've had wonderful non-Jewish, many of your friends, people who are not Jewish, who have been so deeply concerned, and it's so moving, and the allyship is amazing. Would we want to consider having this reach that place of inviting people to put menorahs in their windows, do such a thing again? Is that necessary? Is that too much? Is there other ways we would look for allyship from those who genuinely want to help in this time of challenge? What are you doing with your own menorah situation? What do you think we should do with this current moment? Okay. Who'd like to share their thoughts? All right, shocker, Deborah Goldstein. Let's go. Beautiful, Debbie. So Deborah, in addition to adding some more extra to this story, but basically saying that the question the editor of the paper asked that we didn't quote here, essentially is what would I have done if it was 1938? How would I have stood, God forbid, I won't stand idly by, essentially. That's the lesson. And Deborah's saying that's not only a question for us as a Jewish community when we're the ones sadly feeling vulnerable, but are we asking that of ourselves for anyone at any time? That's the question we really should be asking. Who would we have been? We'd like to think we would never be a bystander. Is that true? Are we living up to that standard? Are we doing what we should do when we see other injustice happening to any community in our country or in the world? That is very profound. Excellent point, Deborah. Yeah, Jeff, what do you say?
I would just add briefly that this is not just a seasonal phenomenon. Every day.
Yeah. That is true.
Mm-hmm. So this is something I think about every day.
Yeah. Yes, so Jeff is actually, and I think it's a really powerful point. There's actually a discussion in the Talmud. We're going to do another Shabbat about, he says there's a mezuzah on the doorpost. And many people, that's a public display on your door. And it is, for some, it's quite obvious and it's seen as well. I mean, the one at night with the Hanukkah, it's kind of like on steroids. But and the mezuzah, and it can be a daily thinking. Sometimes, do I want this exposure? Do I want everyone to know my situation here? It can be awkward. It can be awkward. It's something we have to think about on a daily basis. You're right. You're right. Okay. Is that
Retzky?
Retzky? Yes, sir. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that in a time when there's greater anti-Semitism, I think it's important for us to be even more visible. Because I think oftentimes people forget that there are Jewish people around because we blend in often. And if people don't know that their friends and neighbors might be Jewish, they can just assume that this is a problem that doesn't exist
Right. Sarah's making a very powerful point. It's one that there are many of us, understandably, who just, either because it's just awkward to publicly identify or bring Judaism into the conversation, or because it's something, it's not someone's business, it's private. You don't need to necessarily do that. But she's saying now, in an increased time of anti-Semitism, it's important to do that. And she was giving some examples, her personally, that she's doing this to help just let people think, no, I'm here, there's a Jewish community here, yes, I'm going to perhaps even force the conversation, make people awareness that this community is here, given the fact that also anti-Semitism possibly could be here, that this is part of us too. Our city, our county, our area, yes, there's a Jewish community here as well. We're not going to be silent about it. I just want to add about that, there's another argument that says, if we do get more silent or get more shuttered or put the Chanukiah away, this is dovetailing on Sarah's point. On some level, we are giving in to what I think is kind of powerful about this text is that, this is really kind of provocative, but on some level, anti-Semites are determining how we fulfill a commandment. And do we want to let anti-Semites determine how we fulfill a commandment? Who wants to give them the power to even let us put on the table? And arguably, putting it on here. I'm putting it out there because I'm not letting them decide. But listen to the mother in the story. She says, I realize this may not be a wise idea. And saving one's life is also a Jewish value. It's hard. It's a hard call. This was Bonnie over there? Bonnie, this was created or this was initiated by people of non-Jewish leadership who then went forward and again, I guess I didn't really mean my question like that. I meant more there are people who are not Jewish. I'm sure even in our congregation today who have asked me what could I do, And I thought to myself I don't know. Are we at a place where we need this? I don't know, but it's an interesting question. What could we do? What would we suggest to someone who's not Jewish, who says, I want to stand by, and again, we've actually literally had that. I feel very blessed by that. So what would we do? This seems so dramatic, perhaps God forbid, an acute circumstance generated by their asking, yes. But right, in the middle, I was just kind of putting out as a question, has anyone who is in your circle or life who's not Jewish asked you, oh my God, I'm so troubled, what can I do? What would you say? I've been struggling with the question itself. It's a beautiful question, by the way. I think it's meant well. All right, let's go around here we go. Yes, Susan, what do you say? Yeah.
So I'm struck by the term from the Talmudic, and in a time of danger, and I like that it's very open-ended.
Yes.
All right, bear with me. Clearly, they had no idea about our understanding of epigenetics. And at that time. And epigenetics helps us understand that trauma is genetically transmitted generationally. You need not have the direct experience. And so I'm thinking about one person, a Jew, may sense a time of danger.
Yeah.
And because of a direct experience, or their body feels it.
Yes.
And they may meet that definition of, heck no, that menorah is going to stay inside my home. And another person may not have that experience. And so anyway, so I really find wisdom in the open-endedness at that time.
So I think Susan's really hitting on something powerful. The word danger does not get more specific. Danger can be, it's in the eye of the beholder, absolutely, and it can be generational, sadly, given our people's history. what exactly is a thing of danger. We've had these leaflets, some of you know, flyers, and some people looked at me, Jews, and they're like, oh, it's just trash. Throw it away. And other people that are in tears and terrified, like it triggers something within them of what it's like to see this specific, and both are legit. Both, I can understand what somebody's saying. It's just junk. Just throw it away. And someone says, no, it's not junk. This is like, it's that 1939 again. This is the kind of feel. But when you've been at certain experiences, this is what's triggered, and that's why it's so troubling. It's very, very troubling. Okay, let me go with it. Yeah, Adam, and then we'll go around. Yeah, Adam.
This Hanukkah, I 100% plan to put my Hanukkah in the front window, light it every 8 nights, and I encourage 100% of the people in this room to do the same. And that's my personal opinion. But the world we're in today is not Billings, Montana 28 years ago. The world we're in today, and the reason we need to stand up against it, is that we've got a vile anti-Semite who just won re-election, is one thing not to, but she thinks we have space lasers.
Right.
So I want to encourage us to show that all we have are LED bulbs. It's outrageous stuff we've got. But there are communities in America today that double down on their anti-Semitism instead of going the opposite way and doing it.
Right. So Adam is basically bringing the approach that, like, the sad truth is there are straight up anti-Semitic politicians who won election, and that the response to that is it for him, he recommends, urges a doubling down on what we should do about it. Absolutely. All right, Harry, what do you say?
I'd like to tell a story about my professor, Peter Blau. His father ran a major Jewish, I think, newspaper in Vienna. And after 1938-39, he sent Peter, his son, to the U.S. to study. So he wasn't there. And then Peter Blau told us that he came to the conclusion that everybody had to make a decision when they went to the barricade, like in Les Mis. And he said, it's a choice, like you were saying, it's a choice. And we all don't make the choice at the same time. And we're seeing this in, of course, again, in Iran, where the women are protesting against the shawls. It's the same thing. Sometimes it's only 1 or 2 people at the barricades, and some days everybody shows up. And it's a choice.
Wow. So Harry's really bringing some historical questions on personal, professional, or professorial relationships. In history, there are times where people see danger or see a crisis, see an opportunity for stepping up and speaking out, but they don't all do it at the same time. They make a decision based on their internal evaluation of when is the moment that I need to put myself out there and when do I not? When do I go and push the envelope? When do I not? Exactly. The situation in Iran is incredibly inspiring, risking their lives. Young people, many women primarily, are going forward and doing incredible, gutsy, courageous, and dangerous revolution. But not everyone's ready to do that at the same time. You're fit. All right, let me go a couple last ones. Let me go Claire in the back. And Adi. We'll wrap up. Yeah.
Yes. So Claire is inviting us to consider both the sense of connection that we have with people who practice the way we do, feel drawn to our practice in the same way, but also knowing that other people's experiences, their family experiences, their historical experiences, will cause them to respond differently to the very same situation. And it's not a judgment of what is in their heart, but really invites us to have some compassion for the multiplicity of ways in which we can respond to living in this world.
Awesome. All right, Adi.
So the sermon is about Israel and Poland. And I talk to my Poland friends frequently, and I was talking to one of my friends, very, very close, and we both had this memory of being at Birkenau, which is one of the parts, Auschwitz too, the camp where most of our Jews were killed in the entire Holocaust, having this deep
Making your parents proud, D. Gewalt. No, I do think it's a powerful thing. Like, in some level, one of the questions we've been putting out here is about, should we put the Chanukiah up, should we not put it out based on fear or danger? And at D, you're actually framing it a little differently, saying, like, we get to, right? We have the option. If we have the option, then probably we should. Like, if we have the option, if we really can, because think about people who didn't even have the option to do so. I think you're actually offering another perspective, really about any mitzvah, but really about this mitzvah specifically. I think it's a really proud idea, a very powerful idea, baby. We really appreciate it. All right, last one comment we're going to just give here. Was it Josh over here? No, it's not. Wait, the last one? Yes, ma'am, in the back. Last one. Yeah.
This week, in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, an area where I walk around a lot, and by a school which is almost walking distance to my home in Bethesda, Maryland, there was much anti-Semitism sprayed on walls. And at first, it made me, I'm thinking about it now, I'm scared, because my last name is so obvious I'm Jewish, it's Cantor, and I worried. I never thought it would be that close to my home. And then I realized that the day they did this in Bethesda, Maryland, was my mother's yard site on the Jewish calendar. And I thought, my mother and my grandfather put such a sense of Judaism in us growing up, and why we should be proud, and why we should pray, and why we should try to follow Shabbat whenever we can, because life does get in the way. And I thought, I was afraid, because I don't know how people are going to react to me. But then I have a brand new granddaughter, and I left, and I went to the synagogue, and I started looking at Hanukkahs, because I want to make sure what my mother and my pop did for me, that I'm going to share that with my granddaughter, so she can be proud and she doesn't have to be afraid.
Beautiful.
And your talk this morning, I was afraid before you started, and once everyone opened up, I felt comfortable sharing and thinking of a way that I can be proud and I don't have to be afraid anymore.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's really, really so touching. Thank you so much. May we all be inspired, maybe inspired for each other, that in a moment when, a danger is in the eye of the beholder, but at a time of tenuousness, that we feel proud, that we feel ready to make whatever decision we make to practice with the intention that we're not going to let, anti-Semites determine our Jewish life, and that we're going to push through with it. Having said that, we're going to use, as they say, seichel. We're going to use our Yiddish cups. We're going to be smart about it, okay? We're going to think about it. No one's asking to cause unnecessary problems. But I do think exactly like if we let them decide how we're going to be, then we are kind of turning over our Judaism over there. And I think this is the time for us to say, you know what? We're going to stand up for who we are, and we're going to stand up for everyone. In some level, this is my last comment, like what I've told non-Jewish friends and colleagues and clergy friends, I said, whether American Jews put their Chanukiahs out is a way to take the temperature. Is American society a free, open, and loving society or not? Because if we can't put them out, that means really nobody can put it out. And so you guys want to help us put it out, just like we want to help every community to put out their religious practice. That's the kind of America that we are striving to be. All right. Great conversation. We have to wrap up. We can continue with the Kiddush. You can take your papers and place them to the side. We rise together on page 184, Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש מרבה, ומה תברח ותבימליך מלכותך.
בהיענו ויומנו חיירו בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב. אמן. יש מרבה ומורה לעולם ומעמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשו בריחו אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
תשבחתה ונעמתה תמיד בימה במהרה. Amen. Place our feet together, face the ark. Pages 185 through 187 to daven together. The rest is silent prayer.
Adonai,
Sivanai
אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי מתים את הרב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, והקל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה.
ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני,
בשמו
לחיי המתים.
אמן.
נריצך ונקדישך, כסוציח שרבי קודש,
המקדישים שמך בקודש,
הכתוב על ינביאך וקרא זה על זה ואמר,
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאו, מלוך על הארץ כבודו.
כבודו מלא עולם, משרתיו שואלים זה לזה, האם מקום כבודו לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו,
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים, ויחון העם המייחדים שמו, ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד, פעמיים באהבה, שמה אומרים,
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור,
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, עלייך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושפחך אלוהינו בלעו שני עולם ועד, כי על מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
אמן.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, ויוני יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברך ירדב ימליך מלכותה, בחיי חון ומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב והימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, ולמורה מהלמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו, לילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא והימרו, אמן. תתקבל צלתן ובתן לכל ישראל, קדם אבונו דיבי שמיא והימרו, אמן. יהי שלום הרב מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ולכל ישראל והימרו, אמן. עושה שלום רומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ולכל ישראל, ולכל יושבי תבל והימרו, amen.
Page 204, Bar Mitzvah helps lead Ein Kelohenu.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Michaelohenu, Michadonenu, Michaemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru,
Please rise. Levanecha et toret asamim aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו ירצון, שמנו מזבחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו גהם, וגורלנו כגורל עמונם, אנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך המלכים, ברוך ששמיים ויעשה לבית המשה. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך כל היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Page 207, invite those in mourning or observing a yard site this Shabbat, Chayei Sara. Invite you to rise for Kadisha Tom, page 207. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. Maybe seat everyone. Invite Sam Souls to come over and make announcements and also gifts, both here at this table over here. Invite our Bar Mitzvah to come stand over here, my friend. Why don't you stand right over here? So Sam has the microphone near him. Vakasha Sam.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. Jonathan, Yasher Koach from reading from the Torah for the first time today and chanting your Haftorah impeccably. You did a fantastic job. Mazel tov to your parents, Beth and Elliot, your sister Molly, your extended family and friends, and especially you for becoming Bar Mitzvah today. You did a great job. I read a bit about your school, Envision Science Academy, a couple of days ago. I was impressed with its goals to make students global-based citizens, and it's in employing the project-based learning. When you combine these with your international travel with your family, which I'm jealous of, by the way, to Europe, you must be developing a vision that will translate well through high school and your adulthood. I think it's great. I think your education and your informal education really make you really have a fantastic life's journey. So I wish you mazel tov as before. And there are gifts here which you can pick up after after services. A real, let's see if I can give you a quick summary here.
Yes.
A mezuzah and kosher parchment from our sisterhood, Tanakh and certificate of bar mitzvah from Beth Meyer's Board of Trustees, a Kiddush cup from your Beth Meyer class, your bar mitzvah class, and that's about it. Pretty good, though. Congratulations.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. All right, Jonathan, get back to your seat. Sam offers some announcements. Sure.
Thank you to the Gerstner family for sponsoring today's Kiddush. Mazel tov again, Jonathan. And I did hear Baltimore in there. My family, my northern family, believe it or not, northern family hails from Baltimore, so certainly welcome you here. Donations are needed for the Social Action Committee. They are collecting non-perishable food for Interfaith Food Shuttle Pantry throughout November, and Jewish Family Service is collecting Hanukkah gifts through December the 6th for local families with children. Please place your donations in the lobby bins. Also on Zoom, you're invited on Sunday, November 20th from 10 to 11 to hear about the Beth Meyer Israel Experience info session. If you're thinking about going to Israel with the rabbis, certainly tune in. Also, Interfaith Community Thanksgiving service, as you probably know about, is this Monday from 7 to 8 o'clock at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, and it can also be live streamed. We invite everybody to attend either directly or through live stream. And that's about it.
Thanks, Sam.
Nicely done. Beautiful. So a couple of their announcements. We have Minyan tomorrow at 9. We have Monday morning, 7:30 on Zoom. And Wednesday, the meeting at 5:30 will be completely virtual. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so it will not be in person this week.
Shauna's got an announcement.
Shauna, you like a shot?
Wonderful.
Wonderful,
Great.
wonderful. Fantastic. So I want to put another quick thing for our regulars coming is that in January, we look for our amazing new Hamagi came out just before Shabbat. Talk about a fantastic scholar, artist in residence, Billy Jonas from Asheville, tremendous Jewish musician and performer. We've been trying to have this for 2 years. It got postponed due to COVID. He's coming in January. We will continue to remind you, it's a fantastic opportunity to learn and celebrate and to pray. It'll be very creative Shabbat weekend. Chance to really kind of push the boundaries of creative prayer, creative ritual, those that are into maybe dance and singing, using instruments. This is really going to be your Shabbat weekend, but it will be a more creative Shabbat morning service than usual that Shabbat. So come ready with your creative mind open, your kavanah open that Shabbat, something a little bit outside the box, not our usual, just for one Shabbat a year, okay? So be ready for that. I'll give you more information as it gets closer. All right, last thing, aside from the amazing family from Balmer, we called it. Okay, Balmer. Now, I can smell the Old Bay from here, okay? I know Balmer. Aside from those that came special for the bar mitzvah, anyone who's doing shul shopping, who lives locally or is looking at shuls or is new to our congregation, who's not strictly visiting for the B-Mitzvah, anyone here is new or new-ish that we can introduce and have welcome to our congregation? Anybody? Old-timers? Okay, that was easy. You fit. All right, we're going to wrap up with a Don Olam. Our bar mitzvah is going to come on back, page 211.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Na'asav V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Ilot HaKol U'le'ado Imloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yeh B'tifara Sheni Shilo Le'achbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra V'hu Eli V'chaygo Ali V'tzorchev Li V'yet Sara V'hu Nisi U'manos
li menat kosi b'yom ekra.
Please rise. Just leave it there. It's okay. Come on, man. V'tishan ve'ayira v'ro'eh eviati Adonai li ve'lo ira.
Alkein berach Adonai et Yom HaShabbat Vaikadshehu Savri.
L'chaim. Baruch.
I knew I was going to do that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min ha'aretz.
Any kids who would like to come forward to get some challah? Kids are invited to the bima for challah. Amen. L'chaim. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, I can eat this?
Yes, you must eat it. You must eat it. Kids want challah, come. Challah, yalla. Yalla for challah. Nice challah. Yalla for challah. Shabbat shalom, Vora. Yalla, ba. Bohena, challah. Shkoyach.
Balmer. Or Baltimore is another one.
Ken, please help yourself. Enjoy. Hey, you did a Yonatan. Shkoyach.
You did good, right?
Did it.